Welcome back to the Bean Apple. I hope you had a great Christmas. I know John and Jim do as well. Hopefully, a safe new year. If not, you're probably not here anyway. You're in jail or the hospital, God forbid. But if you're sitting in front of your computer, you've had a great Christmas. You've had a great new year. Maybe hungover, but you're getting your teams ready, and we're going to help you try and win a fantasy championship because it's time. It's time for it to happen, which is insane. The season is almost a wrap, but this is where it comes up big. I'm so mad. I texted you guys last week, and I came up 2 points, less than 2 points short of moving on to the fantasy championship because of that last Monday night drive when Michael Pittman decided he was going to catch two footballs at the end of the game and knock me out of the fantasy playoffs. I was beside myself. I was so mad, but that's fantasy football. So, what are you going to do? All right. But yeah, we're going to run through these games today. We got some big ones overall, even outside of fantasy. Huge implications today for a lot of teams. And I don't know how you guys feel. I don't think we ever talked about the expanded playoffs. But I really like what we're seeing with this and what it's creating, because otherwise football would be done. I mean, the AFC, the top two spots are clinched. If that's all we had left, you'd have 2 weeks of football left with nothing. So I don't know. What do you guys are you a fan of it? Should it be expanded further, or do you think
I
it's
kind of
right?
like it. I kind of like it. I think it's the right amount of teams. You don't want to get watered down like basketball. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To me, basketball is very watered down. You get a 8 seed, and it's just you got 16 teams in the playoff. I think it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, you start looking at standings, which I'm looking at right now. So, Joe, like you were saying, Jacksonville, huge game today. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I think if they win, they're in, I believe. I believe
Do
that's
they
how it is.
do they clinch today?
I thought they clinched the division because they'd go 8-8. Tennessee's, so I thought they beat Tennessee already. I could
They
be wrong.
Yeah. I'm not. I
'Cause
need to
that
look
that
up.
should go head to head. I'm pulling that up right now. Yep. So they beat
I know.
Tennessee
Did they
three
sweep them?
weeks ago. So they beat Tennessee there, and they beat Tennessee. Oh shit! They played them the last week of the season.
Yeah, that's what I
Wow.
thought. I think that's the one
Okay.
that's really gonna
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Travis
I
Travis
thought.
will let us know in a little while.
dictate. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Good morning,
Yeah.
Alex. Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year.
But like if Philly loses today, that means Dallas has to keep playing. That means Minnesota has to keep playing.
Yeah.
That means San Francisco has to keep playing in the afternoon. So
Right.
I'm in Joe, like you said, fantasy playoffs. I'm in one Super Bowl. I have Jalen Hurts on the bench. I had him on another team and I lost. I'm playing for third. I got to run with Danny Dimes today, Jim. I have
Damn.
to.
At home?
He's
At home, and his son's out.
Sun's out against Indy. Indy's done. I mean, they're just not good. So I'm hoping he gets a couple rushing touchdowns. But I mean, just a lot of things that can keep Week 18 very exciting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
should be an interesting week.
Yep.
Well, even when you look at the AFC, you've got the Jets still playing for it, right? You've got the Dolphins and Patriots still trying to lock up a spot. Huge game there today. We'll talk about. Yeah, you said Jacksonville still going at it.
Huge game.
And the Steelers and Ravens even later on today. The Ravens are still trying to figure out who's going to win the North there. With that Monday night game is going to be awesome too with the Bills and Bengals. So a lot of really exciting games this week. And for the Jets, the playoffs start this week. So I'm start today. So I'm really excited. As soon as we're done with this, I'm packing up. I'm heading up to Seattle and watching the game. So I cannot wait for that. But the way I'm looking at it is I get to go to the first Jets playoff game in 12 years, right? So in a
Not
decade.
really.
So
No, it's not true.
this is a playoff
true.
game. It's a playoff game.
I mean,
So,
maybe in like Joe and Mike's world, and you guys live on like what was that show at Tattoo? Was it Tattoo Fantasy
Fantasy
Island?
Island. Fantasy
Yeah.
Island.
So it would be Joe and Mike greeting people at Fantasy Island coming in, just lying to them. That's all they'd be doing is lying to them.
Yeah.
Mike, I
Well-
wish you were on. This would be so much more fun talking
Yeah.
about you in front of your face. It just makes much better.
He can't. He can only do it on text message.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you guys blow up my phone when I'm at work. It doesn't
I
stop
know, it's
buzzing.
hilarious.
I got to put it on silent. Then I miss phone calls. It's great.
Oh man! All
I
right,
don't go to
so
work till 2, Jim. I apologize. 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I know,
So when
I
he
know.
starts his rants, I gotta throw the daggers at him, man.
Yep.
yeah. It is funny when you walk back to your phone and you have 85 text messages that you missed,
Right.
and you're like, "Oh, it's
You can't even
hilarious."
get up.
Anyway,
You don't know what to answer. It's just
Yeah.
as I'm typing, 10 more pop in. I'm like, oh, forget it.
it's awesome. So, well, I sent him an invite so you could yell at him and tell him to jump on with us, but
Wish you would.
I always do. But all right, so let's start running through these games, and let's talk about implications and who you're starting. So a lot of bad ones though, and let's knock out some of those right now. Cardinals and the Falcons. I mean, this game, right? I mean, just disgusting. But is Drake London somebody you're going with, or?
I mean, why not? If you have them, you look at London, you look at their running back Aguilar. I probably just butchered his name, but
Algier?
Algier, yeah. Swami, Samsonite, same thing. But I think Connor. I think you'll see a lot of James Conner today. To be quite
You
honest,
have
I get
to,
him
right?
going in a couple leagues.
Yeah.
Hopkins waited all year for him. He goes nuts with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray goes down. He keeps playing well with Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy goes down. And now all of a sudden, DeAndre Hopkins is hurt and out for the year. So it's like, I would probably sit him too. And I'm glad because he's my keeper next year in one of my leagues in the 7th round. So why not?
Yeah.
But it's just, I mean, that game is going to be, it doesn't matter. You could probably get tickets for free. Just get your money off concessions in Atlanta.
Yeah. I think the only really thing that you feel good about in this game has got to be Connor, because I don't even remember the name of the guy that's starting for Arizona. It's not Trace McSorley. It's
Blough, I believe.
Yeah, he
I don't
started a
even know
couple
who he is.
games.
No
Yeah, he
idea.
started a couple games for Detroit
Yeah, he
a couple
moved around
years
a little
ago.
bit. Yeah.
I think he's like 0-4 in his career. So
I thought wasn't he in Indy a little bit too, or
probably.
Oh,
Maybe
yes.
Detroit.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
So nothing you're getting excited about in this one, but yeah, I think you're right. You do want to get James Conner in there because what other options do you have, right? This is just a death game.
do you
Bears
think
at
Arizona wins this game in Atlanta?
no. I think the Falcons. I think the Falcons win this game. Sorry. 6.5 point favorites for Atlanta.
It jumped 3 points.
Right.
Up to 6.5. So if you can still get the 3.5, take Atlanta.
That's because they went from one practice squad quarterback to the second practice squad quarterback.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's stupid. And then a 40-point over/under.
I mean,
So-
who knows? It may be one of those bum fights, man, where it's 30
Yeah.
to 25, or who knows, man. Both teams are terrible.
Yeah.
Both teams are terrible.
Oh, this is a very interesting. It is one of the lowest, but surprisingly not the lowest over/under at 40. So, but give me the Falcons in this one. But I don't. Falcons, and I would probably place the money if I was betting on the Falcons, even at the 6.5. I don't think Arizona's going to be able to do anything, but we'll see. All right, so Bears and Lions. Oh my, here we go. Right, the 3-12 Bears. Lions, they're still fighting. You never know who's going to show up for this Detroit team. I mean, they were on fire and then laid an egg. So they're 5.5 point favorites. It's a home game for them. 52-point over/under. So we go from the lowest, one of the lowest, to the highest over/under of the week.
I wouldn't have thought that.
I wouldn't have thought that either, but that is very clearly the high there. So, what do you like in this game? I mean, is this a DraftKings special for you, John?
It is. So it's funny you say that. I would bet the over in this if I was going to bet this game. Neither team is playing good defense right now. Fields is back. Fields will run for 100+ today. Goff will throw for 3 or 4 touchdowns, I think. I got Goff and St. Brown in all 4 of my DraftKings. I'm just going with them. I got Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet had 2 touchdowns last game. in Chicago, so now he's playing in a dome. And whose Fields going to throw to? Cole Kmet. That's it. Everybody else is hurt. I don't even know. I mean, I could probably look at the depth chart, but we probably wouldn't. Even N'Keal Harry's not playing. Chase
Has
Claypool,
he played at all?
Yeah. He actually had a touchdown a few weeks ago. So Claypool is not playing. So it's like Cole Kmet, I hope, is going to get 17 targets for 16 receptions and a whole bunch of touchdowns. So
Actually, Chase Claypool is active.
I thought they said he was inactive.
Really? Yeah, I'm taking a look now.
He's active and likely to dominate the target count.
Well, I may have to move a couple things around because I thought he was inactive. I'm glad you looked it up.
Yeah,
and
Single and St. Brown. Yep. And
Dante
Kmet.
Pettis. Dante Pettis is also active.
Yes. It's giant.
Yep. Equimenius St. Brown has cleared concussion protocol, so you could also pivot in his direction if needed. So
playing against his brother again.
Playing against his brother. Yep. Yes, it is. It's the St. Brown show there. Yep. So Chase Claypool though, that might be you might want to pivot a little bit to Mr. Claypool. So Colby, good morning. Happy New Year.
You still like the over with Claypool too, so.
Absolutely. If I was betting, I went straight money line this week with a few games. I parlayed a 4-teamer with Dallas, so I just need Jacksonville, San Francisco, and Kansas City to win today, and I'll do okay. So,
yeah, that's not bad. But yeah, I think you're on to something. I would definitely, and obviously Vegas is as well with a 52.5 over under. That's huge. So they're putting a lot of points in this game, and I think you're right to kind of jump on that. But yeah, I like everything you said. I would be really curious because for me, like Claypool, still learning that offense. You haven't really seen an explosive game from him. And I don't know if just him being back means that that's going to happen. You haven't really seen that from Justin Fields either. It's like watching year 2 Josh Allen, where he was just relying on his legs for 90% of everything.
Right. Yep.
And then a couple of completions here and there, but he's got the arm, absolutely. But we'll see. I like it. I think you're hopefully going to strike gold. The bad thing is you've got to get that combination right because DraftKings is going to be chalk on this game, and everyone's going to be on this one. So you have got to get the combination right of targets and who's going to get that receiving thing. But we'll see. Let's see. All right. So this game, this is a tough one. Detroit 5.5. Where are you going with this? So I know you like the over. Jim, you like the over?
No, because every game recently has been nothing. It's like nobody's scoring. There's a ton of punts. So I would take the under here. Sorry, John. And I take Detroit at home.
Okay.
I would take Detroit as well. I don't know if I would bet the 5. Again, Joe, I think you hit the nail on the head. You're going to see, again, I think Fields will rush for over 100, probably a couple touchdowns. I do. Mm-hmm. But when has he thrown over 150 yards for against anybody?
He hasn't.
Kobe, I don't know if I like the Lions D only because I think Fields will get his couple touchdowns and over 100 yards rushing. I truly do. So I guess it depends what kind of format it is. Do you lose points for yards? Do you? I don't know. I think Fields will have 275-ish of total offense today. I do, and probably at least 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly running, but if he starts throwing the Cole Kmet, with Claypool back, maybe that opens it up for even more Cole Kmet because that's what he likes. He likes the short checkdowns. So
it's weird in this game too because watching the Jets Lions game 2 weeks ago, that Lions defense looked phenomenal. I mean the pass rush was just insane, and that defensive line was clogging every single running lane that you could possibly think of. It was just a smothering defense. And then they play the Panthers last week and they give up 37 points. And you're just like
300 plus yards rushing.
Yeah. You're like, what?
I don't know. It was just,
so that's a hard one to feel good about because it looks like they definitely have the potential to be an outstanding defense. And with Aiden Hutchinson in there, just crashing through offensive linemen like they're paper. But I don't know if I would feel good about it in the playoffs. If there's a better target out there, that there's got to be. But man, that's a defense that could show up or pack it in. I mean, and they've packed it in more than they've shown up. So I wouldn't risk it personally. But yeah, I think I'd give it to the Lions the way they're playing. But it wouldn't surprise me if Justin Fields rushes for 180 yards and just controls this game and puts it away. So
to answer Colby's question there, defense a good pick? You're saying no.
I'm saying no.
I don't think so. I mean, you may get like a pick or something, but I still think Chicago's going to score 20-plus points. I truly do. So you're going to lose.
And that kills your defense.
And honestly, do you see Detroit sacking Fields a lot? I don't. So there goes your sacks. So maybe a pick six. You may get lucky here or there, but I mean, how often do those happen unless it's Michigan versus TCU, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So next game up, Broncos Chiefs. You start your Chiefs in this one, right? And I don't know, maybe Jerry Jeudy, he said nice things about Russell Wilson this week, so maybe Russell will gift him a couple extra passes, targets. I'm grasping here, guys. I'm
right.
Very clearly grasping at straws. I don't know. I would just say start your Chiefs.
I would, but look out for Denver's defense. Don't look at what Denver did last week against the Rams, because before that they weren't giving up any points. They were one of the number one scoring defenses.
Do you think they just gave up?
Are they giving up now?
You know what? The coach got fired, so guess what that does to the players? Oh, shit, we better do something this week.
Yeah.
I think you'll see – I would go either Giants or Jacksonville, honestly.
Well, it's got to be the freaking Giants. Why can't it just be –
I would say Jacksonville or the Giants, Steve, to be quite honest.
Xavier McKinney's back. The line is strong. Giants. Come on.
Indy is going with Nick Foles, right? So
you're going to get two INTs Giants defense. Come on.
I would probably go Giants D over Jacksonville, but that'd be a tight one.
Yep.
But as far as Denver, I love it. I love the Jeudy play because Kansas City probably will score points. You can expect Russell Wilson to throw at least 2 to 3 interceptions again, but maybe 3 touchdowns to Jeudy again. I don't know. But I'm starting Jeudy in 2 of my leagues and in DraftKings. So I'm kind of high on him today because Cortland Sutton's still a little banged up. I know he's the preferred one, but if you look at Judy's targets week after week, they're crazy. And, Kansas City, I don't know who to start besides Mahomes and Kelsey. Everybody else is a coin flip to me.
Yeah. I mean, Pacheco potentially in that one. If you need a running back, that's kind of been.
I'm not a fan of him.
I know.
I'm not at all.
That's been this year for me. Fantasy has been a disaster at running back. So like he's somebody that I picked up and I've had to lean on, but hasn't really done a lot of good things. So starting Jeudy over Devontae Adams.
I would too.
Is a Pacheco in one league?
I would too. That's an easy call with. Jarrett Stidham. And why is San Francisco's defense only 2,900 in DraftKings against Vegas today? What do they know that we don't? Yeah. Are they sitting the whole defense? Because I still think they would be a great play against Vegas today.
Yeah.
You can put San Fran's third stringers in, and they're going to get to Stidham. So.
Yeah. And that's weird because you do see a lot of times like this situation plays out because there's no film, but you do have some game film on Stidham. So you know what his tendencies are.
Stidham would still be here if he was the heir apparent to anybody. Okay, we had him. We let him go. We traded him away. So
that's something else there. But all right, so obviously Chiefs 12.5-point favorites, and I don't know if I'd bet that. I mean, if the Broncos defense shows up, that's a very, very difficult defense, but. That feels like one of those like sucker bets that Vegas is trying to tease you into,
right.
Thinking that they're going to just destroy the Broncos. But like you said, that Broncos defense, very, very good. So
I would take KC money line. I would take Denver points. That's why I went with money line with Kansas City today.
Yep, I think that's right. All right. Well, Colby wants to talk about Mac Jones and if he sucks or not. So let's see. Let's get to Alex real quick. Speaking of backups, Purdy or Minshew?
So
And
here's the thing.
I mean, don't you want to root for Purdy? This kid, I mean, if he continues to win, right? Okay, Garoppolo's gone. Now what does San Fran do? What do you do?
I know they're so screwed.
I mean, it's like, if he keeps on winning and he's playing well and the team seems to rally around him. Now, I mean, what happens when Lance heals up? What happens with Lance? Is he come right back in? I don't think so.
So it's funny. Me and Shaney were talking yesterday, my brother, and we're like, what happens if Purdy wins the Super Bowl?
Right.
Honestly, I mean, if San Francisco wins, what do? You keep playing them. I'm sorry, Trey Lance. Hey, you know what? Let's. I mean, he's not playing bad. I mean, he's the last player in the draft taken. I mean, he's the number 4 in San Francisco, and he may get to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. The kid looks good.
He does. Speaking of backups, here's the only thing, Alex. If Philly wins today, does Purdy even play? Because now they have nothing to play for.
Mm-hmm.
They truly don't. They're not going to get any better in their seeding. Why would you chance your 4th quarterback going down? That's my take on it. I'm a little worried about Christian McCaffrey in that 4:00 game because, again, if that's why I hope Philly loses. If Philly loses, everybody has to keep playing.
Yeah.
So fantasy-wise, especially me, I have a Week 18 matchup for a friggin' Super Bowl. Dumbest shit ever. I got to figure out who to play. So if Philly loses, I'm good because I got a lot of players that have to keep playing next week. You know what I mean? Because of positioning. So
but you're still at even 2 weeks out. You're still playing for positioning on who you're going to play in the wild card. So
boy, if you're San Francisco, man, you've already lost 2 QBs. Are you willing to lose a third in a game that means nothing? I wouldn't. I mean, that's just
needs the reps. He still needs the reps.
He does.
Yeah, but who's behind him? We don't know. That's what I mean. How can you?
Right.
I personally wouldn't play him if Philly wins. And here's the thing: New Orleans has a good defense, so I don't know. Maybe that's what Vegas is looking at as far as like spreads and stuff. But I mean, depth shot for San Francisco. You got Josh Johnson behind him. No idea who he is.
He's a super journeyman. I think this is team 14 for him.
He's been in the league 14 years. Good for him.
And he has 7 snaps.
Hey, you know what? He's making money. Has no concussions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was with the Jets last year. He started a game, I think.
Cleveland, Cincy, Washington, Jets, Baltimore. Yeah. Has 13.
So,
I mean, I guess
does Garoppolo? What's his timeline for his injury?
Possibly playoff time. But again, if they're winning, can you take them out? You can't.
Right.
Yeah.
But they will.
So but in this scenario, like even if Minnesota loses, San Francisco could jump up to the number 2 seed, which would then give them, if it started right now, the Commanders. If they stay where they're at, they have the Giants. So who would you rather face?
True.
Honestly, I'd rather face the Commanders because for some reason the Giants keep winning. So
true.
Yeah, for some reason. I don't know how they're doing it. You look at the games week in and week out. They're not pretty games.
Do you know why they're winning? Because the quarterback is playing well.
I don't know about that.
No receivers.
I don't know about
There's
that.
no receivers.
Yeah.
There's no receivers on the team. We got all these
I know.
It's
crap.
It's a very opportunistic defense and Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I see a lot is a pivotal turnover here, a fumble recovery, a big stop, and then Saquon is just grinding and that's it. But I think to answer your question, I would go with Purdy.
I mean, you kind of have to because Philly's playing New Orleans. That's not a. I mean, what's Minshew
And
going
it's
to do?
It's Minshew. Like
I'm sitting with Sanders today because I don't like the matchup and I don't like the quarterback.
Yeah. Okay, so let's speaking of quarterbacks people don't like, let's get back to that and talk about Mac Jones. And it's funny to see and that comment there for Jimmy G, because the Jets are saying the same thing. And I don't understand this this Jimmy G love by everybody because he's not a great quarterback. Like, he's barely a good quarterback. He looks good on that San Francisco team because the defense is outstanding and they've been able to run the ball like crazy. But Jimmy G is probably the most polarizing quarterback because you don't know what you're going to get. You could get a 2 QBR or you can get 120 QBR from him week in and week out. And it's just, he either shits the bed or he looks like a good quarterback. But to pay the man the money that he got in San Francisco, and this is the results you get, and other teams were like, give me Jimmy G. Why do you want that? What has Jimmy G done that you're like, man, I need this quarterback?
He wins.
But
he wins regardless. He just does. When he's playing.
I feel like this is the argument we have with Zach Wilson, where it's like, well, Zach Wilson was 5-2, but it's not because of Zach Wilson. Like, and that's kind of what it's the San Francisco defense. Like those games where Mostert was running for like 200 yards in the game. Like, it was Jimmy G was managing that team, but he wasn't winning those games.
Yeah, but Jimmy G doesn't make a lot of mistakes either. I mean, Zach Wilson does. I'm sorry.
And we're talking about two different quarterbacks, but
right.
I don't know. I don't get the Jimmy G love, but I don't know. He's not a quarterback that I want to pay big bucks to or assume a lot of money in a contract for somebody that you could get similar play from Purdy from. Really? I mean, what are you getting from Jimmy G that you can't get from, the last pick in the draft type?
I mean, Purdy is Jimmy G if you think about it. Does enough just to win. Throws a couple touchdowns, doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, and you're not paying him like crazy.
Well. You don't have to pay him a lot. You've got a good team.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy G leaves after this year anyways in San Fran. That's obvious. But, I mean, I would take him over Mac right now. I would love to see the Patriots go after him, and here's why. And Colby, I disagree. He doesn't suck. What Alex said is spot on. He's so immature right now. He is not a leader. When you get mad, when you publicly start bashing people, and Joe, I'm saying the same thing about Saleh. He is not a head coach. He's not a head coach. He has ran that situation into the ground. I'll get to that after. But Matt Jones is doing it to himself. He's doing it to himself. He acts like a baby every play. Stop it. Nobody's going to follow somebody. Joe, you and I spent how many years in the military? 45 years combined.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to listen to the guy that yells all day long? You turn him off. You turn him off and you stop following him. Guess what? Sooner or later, that person leaves.
Yeah.
Because they know the 300 people underneath them isn't going to follow. It just happens that way. And Mac needs somebody to learn to. And that's what I hate about who Bill brought in. He brought in no offensive guys, no quarterbacks coach for a second-year player. And I'm not blaming this on the coaches. I'm blaming this on Bill, just like I blame the Jets' problems on Saleh. Bill did not set up Mac good enough. And now you go blasting Bill Belichick and public saying the coaching staff sucks and this and that, whatever Mac was saying the other day. Man, if you want to end up in stationed at Antarctica, watching, measuring the thickness of ice, that's what he's doing.
Wow, we're getting deep.
I mean, seriously, man, you don't do that. You don't go public. I hate, and that's what Bill doesn't do. He doesn't go public. But I'll tell you what, I think Mac needs somebody. Is he playing well? No, he's digressing. He is getting better week to week. But I'm sorry, Matt Patricia is not an offensive coordinator. He's not. Go put him on the D. Go put him somewhere. You bring back Joe Judge. What was he doing before he destroyed the Giants? He was coaching special teams. Put him special teams. He's not a freaking quarterbacks coach. Neither of these guys had anything to do with any offense. And you put him in charge of a second-year quarterback. Worst move ever by Belichick. Worst move ever. That's my rant. But
well, no, that was good, and I agree with you.
Sorry, now I can breathe. Now I can get it all out. I do. I feel excellent.
I've been arguing for the last 2 or 3 days with Jets fans online, and I'm not ready to give up on Wilson. But I think the problem is, and it kind of is the same as what you're saying, is there's no there's no instruction there to develop these guys. And my question to Jets fans, and of course nobody hears it because they don't want to hear it and the perspective can't shift, but they're just like, we need another quarterback. Zach Wilson sucks. And I'm like, okay, why for the last 50 years has every quarterback we've drafted suck? Like, the odds are against that so much that you would draft a quarterback year in and year out and they all suck. There's something more going on to this, right? Like, it's not just we keep drafting quarterbacks that suck. That's what I was talking about. Like, how much of it is the media and the pressure from the fans in the stands just booing every opportunity they get. It's like once they turn on a guy, that's it. There's no coming back from, New York fans. But you look at like Cincinnati or Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville, nobody talks about them. They have their shitty games. Everybody's just like, well, we'll move on. You know what I mean? Like, it's so, and I think Mac's kind of seeing that in New England is where I'm kind of going with is he's got to fill these Tom Brady shoes that everybody expects and the continuous winning that everyone expects. And it's a burden on a 22-year-old kid. It's a weight that, like, we say, like, he's a quarterback, he should be able to do this. Like, no, you shouldn't. And I made the comparison to somebody saying, like, it's like saying that you run a family business and it's successful. Now you're ready to take over as Pepsi CEO. You ran a company and you ran it well, but you're not running Pepsi. It's a different beast. It's an animal all into itself. And to expect a 22-year-old or a 21-year-old to come in and just hit the ground, not make mistakes because they've played quarterback since they were 8 years old and they played in Pee Wee and that's when they were supposed to learn. Like, it's a different thing. So it's kind of, to me, it's irritating to see the mentality that people have and expect and these are kids, right? I mean, I think we could say that you're 22 years old. Like, how do you expect that person in a New York media or Tom Brady's shadow to step in and not struggle and not make mistakes? Like, you have to have that support structure, that veteran presence, that guy that's like, man, I got you. We're going to groom you. And you got to have the time to be groomed. You can't just be like, you've played 20 games. You still suck. You're out. Next guy in. 20 games. You still suck. You're out.
Like, why do we only expect this out of the quarterback position? You know what? If a linebacker takes 3 years to get decent, why do we not worry about that? If an O-lineman takes 3 or 4 years to get decent, why do we expect these quarterbacks to come in and be able to pick up an NFL system? And Colby, I get it. You don't like Mac. I can kind of tell because you puked at my shirt. I still believe that Mac can be a decent quarterback if groomed right. I guarantee you put Mac under Jimmy G, you put Mac under Tom Brady in Tampa, Green Bay, whatever. Yeah. I mean, you put him under learning. I mean, remember Steve Young back in the day? How many years did he sit behind Montana? Now, I know he went to the USFL first. I get it.
How many years did Rodgers sit behind Favre?
Thank you, Favre. I mean, when these guys came in, they hit the ground running and just destroyed it. I mean, Eli Manning, he kind of came in and started right away. I get it. But he still had his bumps and bruises. He ended up winning 2 Super Bowls. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can't expect these quarterbacks. And I'm sorry, and I think I said in the text, Mahomes is a freak of nature. But who does he have as a coach? Andy Reid.
And he also sat out the entire first season outside the very last game he played.
Under what, Bradford? Was it? No, the kid from
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith, that's right.
Yeah. Also, perfect example of he was a bust.
Yes.
And it took him, 8 years before he finally kind of got it going. Like it
Geno Smith right now.
Yeah.
I know he's slowing down a little bit, but you're telling me Seattle's looking for a new quarterback next year? Hell no. They're going to build off what they got. They'd be stupid to go after a new quarterback. They
right. And I just think, and especially from a management position, right? Like, you've done it, Jim, as well. Like, you don't just hire a guy in who has experience in the department and you're just like, all right, man, operate flawlessly. What's going on? Why don't you know how the ins and outs of all this stuff? You've been a manager for, since for the last 12 years, you've been a manager. Why are you struggling? Right? Like, because you should struggle when you step into a new thing. And I'm not saying like to where you're inoperable, but it should be a learning curve. There should be more that you need to learn as you step up into a new role. And I think that's where people are losing their expectations, are not matching reality. And it's causing this, for me, for a Jets fan, it's causing this carousel of quarterbacks because you get 20 games, and if you're not Mahomes, if you're not Joe Burrow, if you're not Justin Herbert, you're out. And those guys are the exception to the rule. They are not the rule. So I have a lot of trouble with that. And Colby's argument is what I see a lot is like, oh yeah, you are a quarterback in the NFL. It should be stressful. It should be, but it shouldn't be an immovable object, right? It should be, we need to help these guys get to where we want to go, not expect them to be ready to go. And I think that's where it is. If you bring when the Jets brought Favre into New York, he didn't have a problem handling the media because he'd been doing it for 15 years. Right. It's not a big thing. He's not a kid. He can handle the pressure. He can handle the media. He knows the game. And I think that's where you kind of you see that difference of how Brady handled the media later in his career and how Mac's handling it. It's just, you need the experience.
And Colby, I get it. You're falling asleep. But what's the difference between this year and last year? Mac Jones had 22 touchdowns last year. He has 8 this year? What's the difference? Josh McDaniel left. I mean, he left. I'm sorry, they don't have an offensive coordinator. And I'm sorry, McDaniels is like Salah. You know what? Favre's in some trouble anyways. But you bring in McDaniels and Salah as an offensive defensive coordinator, they only have one aspect of the game to worry about now. You give them a whole dimension of media, everybody, player personnel. They suck at it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, very different.
Suck. They're prime examples of why certain people are not men. And Joe, you said it the other day, why did anybody take a chance on McDaniels again as a head coach? It blows my mind. It blows my mind. Anyway,
to kind of close this out, and Alex makes the perfect point. Breeze, Rivers, Justin Herbert. How many Super Bowl wins does the San Diego / LA Chargers have in the last 22 years?
Hold on.
It's the same as the Jets.
0.0 grade point average.
Exactly.
All classes incomplete.
So, with that being said, if that was New York, they wouldn't have a career. They would have booed them out of New York for not winning. It's just sick. So, yeah, you got to let these guys develop. You just have to. And Rivers sat behind Breeze. There's another one that we were talking about.
Colby, he's 22.
So,
ask Bama if he was a good leader there. What did he have at Bama? He had structure.
Again, it's different.
What did he have last year? He had structure. He played well. You never heard anything. What does he have this year? Zero structure on the offensive side. He just does.
Yeah.
Well, let's go.
All right. Let's take Monsters.
Monster 612.
So I'm gonna.
Let's see, Mike White.
I'm going with Mike White.
I would. I don't like that matchup against New Orleans. I just don't.
No. Mike White will throw the ball. He will. Seattle's defense is not great. Higgins definitely. He seems like you kind of have to go with him week in and week out.
Higgins is Monday night.
It is Monday night. It's the Bills. But he keeps getting the ball.
Keenan Allen against the Rams.
Keenan Allen for sure. He's a target.
In a PPR, Keenan Allen is back alive again.
Wilson for sure. White likes Wilson.
He loves.
I think I'd go DJ Moore because that's all they have there in Carolina. I'd go Moore over Higgins.
You would, huh?
Yep.
So yeah, we're all saying Keenan and Wilson.
Yep.
What is it? Sam Darnold is quarterbacking still?
Yeah, the rebirth Sam Darnold, who's looking pretty good. Sam Darnold's looking pretty good because he's had years to develop.
It took him a couple of years. Wow,
it took him a couple of years. Look at that.
It's like
man.
Times.
ESPN needs to clip this and put it on there and show us why we're wrong. But so ESPN, if you're watching right now, this is where we need to go with this quarterback conversation. Man, I don't think you could go wrong here. And this is a tough one. I definitely think it's Mike White over Minshew, but I like all these receivers. They all have nice matchups, man. It's tough. I think really what you come down to is you've got a late game with the Chargers. You got afternoon games there. You also have the Jets, and everybody's everybody's late. So the bad thing is if you go with DJ Moore and he shits the bed, then you're in a situation to where you've got to pick between the late games of Allen, Higgins, and Garrett Wilson, and that's tough because to me Moore is kind of that flex option. Like if you're losing big, you throw Moore in there for a Hail Mary, but he makes me really nervous. So. I agree. I would go Higgins. I would go your first three. I would go Higgins, Allen, Wilson, but I don't think DJ Moore is a bad bet either. I think John's right, but he makes me so uncomfortable because he could get you 3 yards or he can get you 3 touchdowns. It's like, ugh, and that's hard in the championship week. I think the top 3 are solid options, and Moore is more of a I need a win. I gotta hope for that big game. So
and I hope it doesn't work for him. His history of picking him hasn't worked out. So I say stay away.
Yeah, because I got a question for you guys as far as history. So I'm still fighting for third in one of my leagues, and it's an okay payout. I get Travis Etienne, which I'm locking him against Houston. I get Joe Mixon, Rachaad White, and Aaron Jones. Who would you guys start? I can only start 3 of them.
So
who was the first one?
Aaron Jones.
Travis Etienne. They're playing Houston at Houston, so he's a start. I got Rachaad White playing Carolina, which Fournette has been taking most of the love there. Mixon against Buffalo, so I'm predicting a pretty high scoring game. So I think Mixon will be involved in the passing game. So that's why I'm going to play Mixon. So now I'm between Rachaad White and Aaron Jones, who is splitting with they're both splitting. Rachaad White is splitting with Fournette, which he's gotten a lot of love, and Aaron Jones is splitting with Dylan.
I think Jones will get more out of that, though. I mean, it does seem like White has been taken more from Fournette, right? I mean, Fournette, I didn't look at the numbers for last week, but I did see him. Seemed like he was featured more.
Yeah, he was. He was featured a lot more the last 3 weeks. That is a very accurate statement. And White is very touchdown driven or reception driven. So,
but you would think if they were close, wouldn't they run Fournette in there?
Yes, that's the thing. I expected a close game.
Is that a PPR?
Half point.
Yeah. Which White's going to get. Well, I mean, Jones does catch some passes too, but not as much as White.
Fournette caught 9 passes last week. The only thing that saved White last week was he had a touchdown.
Yeah. And then I'm looking. Of course, they played week 1 against Minnesota, and he had 49 yards.
Right.
So that doesn't really tell you much.
Mark is saying, don't take Mixon.
The bad thing with Jones that makes me nervous is looking at his stats. His last 5 games, 40 yards, 43 yards, 26 yards. He had 90 against the Rams, but then 25 yards against Miami.
Yeah.
He has been abysmal, really. I mean, it's just
absolutely.
So that's what
he's touchdown dependent too. He's only had 2 touchdowns the last 8 weeks.
Right.
I mean, they have to win. They're at home. Right, Green Bay has to win, and they're at home.
Yep.
You think they're going to be using him? Rodgers is going to find a way. I would go with Jones.
That's what I'm going with because I think the Carolina-Tampa game is going to be low scoring. I do. I think it's going to be low scoring. But I'm still. I mean, it's 15 minutes till, and I'm still unknown. I keep saying I'm going Jones, and I keep swapping them out every 3 minutes.
Yeah,
that's what I'm looking at real quick. 36, 38, 56, 28. Yeah, I mean, you really have a coin toss. The nice thing about White, though, is, he hasn't put up a lot of yards on the ground, but 4 receptions last week and a touchdown. Then 1 the week before that, he had 5, 6, and 9 receptions. Yeah. So pretty good receiving side of the house.
So against Carolina last time, he had 3 points. That's what worries me.
Yeah, but that was early in the season before he really he didn't really start taking on a role until the Seattle game is when he really became a factor with 22 carries.
I am Colby. That's my next one, brother.
I would go White. But that's me.
Let me make a little note here.
Yeah, let's see how that one plays out. All right, so
You
let's
guys
roll
didn't
through.
help me at all. At all.
I would go White for his receiving in a game that
John,
Tampa has to win this game too. So they're playing for a division. So
Yeah.
the question is, John, who do you trust on the show? That don't even say it. Don't say anything.
oh,
And
man.
then pick accordingly. Act accordingly. All right?
I'll tell you guys through text later who I started.
Wow.
Jerry
Same-
Judy,
same-
VM,
same
without
thing.
even thinking of it.
Jerry
Judy.
Man.
And I watched Stidham will hit him for 4 90-yard touchdowns, I'm sure. But I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
right.
Stidham is shit.
Man, I feel like
Devontae wishes he didn't make that choice.
He
to go
does.
to the Raiders. He wants
does.
out in the worst way.
yeah, but
Dan Adams is pissed off.
he is. He's very pissed off. All right, so let's get back. Let's quickly get back on track here. We're way off, and it's been fun. But let's get to the Dolphins and the Patriots. Teddy Bridgewater's coming in. Mac's a mess. What happens in this game?
Good luck, brother.
I don't know, Joe, because the last 3 weeks, all potential wins, man. And we just can't get it done.
Yeah.
I get it. Teddy Bridgewater's in there. He's not that bad. I like Teddy. I do. Is he Tua? No, I think Tua's had a great year so far. I think we're going to have all we can handle with Miami's offense. I still don't think we'll be able to score enough points. So I'm hoping the Patriots win. No, they're playing in New England, Alex. But the weather's nice. It's 52 degrees. Honestly, Michael, that wouldn't surprise me one bit. It truly wouldn't. That's what I mean. We just have a hard time scoring. I mean, last week we scored 20 points and 6 of it was from our defense again. So I don't think we can score enough points to hang with Miami. Although we did almost beat them if it wasn't for a fumble. First or second week of the season, we probably could have beat them. We had them down at the 20. So, but again, I see a low-scoring game, and that will probably benefit the Dolphins, to be quite honest. I don't think we'll score enough points. So I'm picking New England because I love them. But it wouldn't surprise me if they lost 10-3 today.
Wow.
Okay. New England is a 3-point favorite. So take that as you will. I'm gonna agree with you, and I'm gonna say that the Patriots win this one. If it was Tua and that offense was rolling, I'd say yeah, but I don't know. Teddy Bridgewater he makes me nervous. He's a nice fill-in, but he hasn't played. He got in that Jets game, got knocked out in the first play. Haven't seen him since, right? So is he gonna be rusty? I don't know. Is he gonna be seeing
backs too, Joe? We're missing a couple starting defensive backs today.
Yeah.
My thing is, Joe, a 10-yard dump pass can turn into an 86-yard touchdown like Waddle did last week. That's what
absolutely. That they have weapons everywhere, without a doubt. But we'll see in this game. It is a toss-up to me. I mean, that's why it's 3 points. I think Vegas it's a toss-up for them as well. You have no Jonnu Smith, Devontae Parker's out, Thornton's in, Henry's in, Ramondre Stevenson's active. And it looks like Harris is finally back now that the playoffs are basically over and you can't really do much in fantasy.
Right.
Damian Harris decides to come back to football, so that's great. But I'm gonna say the Patriots pull this one off. It just feels like one of those games. For no reason, it just feels like.
I gotcha. No, I love the optimism, man. I love it.
Okay.
I'll disagree. I'll disagree quickly. Miami goes to New England and wins and covers.
Okay. And covers. Well, yeah. All right.
Maybe by 4, but they cover.
So let's quickly jump down to you, Colts and Giants.
Oh, hold on. We got a question here. Gavin, McKinnon, Dotson, or Dortch?
Oh, God.
McKinnon's touchdown dependent. Dotson, I mean, Wentz is back, but that means he's going to be either throwing to Robinson or Scary Terry.
McKinnon.
I don't like the McKinnon play either.
I don't like Dotson or Dortch. I don't want anything to do with an Arizona offense right now.
I
Nothing.
would probably go Dotson, to be quite honest. Out of those three, I'd go Dotson.
Not Dortch. No.
I don't like
I don't
Dortch and McKinnon. If he scores 3 touchdowns, great. If he doesn't, he gets no love in the run game.
No,
And
but he
Denver's
catches a lot.
defense can play good. I mean, that's a good defense. I'd go Dotson.
Okay. Dotson.
All right.
Good luck, Evan.
I got outvoted. So, all
Joe's
right. So
voted
yeah,
off, yeah.
G-Men.
Giants and the Colts. I mean, is there much to this? The Giants should handle this one, right? I mean,
They should, which is scary, right? Because they're favored. And
Yep.
they're home, so they usually get better as dogs. But Xavier McKinney's back, our safety's back after 7 weeks after he hurt his hand in Mexico on a 4-wheeler or something. So
yeah.
we've been banged up in the secondary. Our defensive line has been great, but the secondary is where we struggled. So having McKinney back is going to be great. But yeah, I think I saw Foles play last week. I don't know if you watched that horrible game.
Oh God.
I mean, if he's finishing the year out, and if the Giants can't take care of business at home today to secure a spot in the playoffs, yeah, I take the Giants today. And what's interesting is next week is Giants Eagles. So if Giants and Eagles both win today, next week, week 17, they play each other for nothing.
Right.
Wouldn't that be something? I mean, and they're both in.
Yeah.
I mean, I never saw that happening. And when we talked about it at the beginning of the year, I thought it would come down to week 17, the two of them, and I was saying for the division. But it wasn't that. But hey, they both can be in the playoffs today, locked up, and next week nothing. But yeah, Giants. It's sunny out, beautiful weather today, 50 degrees. There's no wind. I think Saquon has a nice day today. Jones hits a couple of touchdowns. Yes.
That's weird. According to AccuWeather, it shows 52 and rain in the greater New York, Jersey area.
Look, that's sun.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're looking at.
It's nice though.
I don't see any clouds out.
I don't know.
With blue skies out there.
It's showing the Eagles game rain and the Giants game rain.
Actually,
Kinda
I'm
weird.
closer to Philly right now. I'm down the shore.
Yeah, I know. It looks disgusting there.
It's not.
It's not.
Listen,
yeah,
I was
think
walking on the beach this morning.
Yeah.
That salt air in your lungs is good
That's
for
insane.
you. Salt
no,
life.
so I think you're right. The Giants should handle this one easy, but I got to be honest with you, and not like I'm not normally, but no way in hell did I see the Giants in the position they are 17 weeks ago.
Nobody
Go back
did
to the
except for
videotape.
Jim.
I know.
Go back to the videotape.
You said it,
and
and after I scooped my jaw back up and reattached it, yeah, you're right though. You got it, but both New York teams, I think, just shocked the greater public. Nobody saw it coming. The drastic improvement as of where we were last year to where we are this year, night and day. Great steps forward. But
again, I'll say, going back to what you were saying earlier, we're giving a quarterback time to develop. Daniel Jones hasn't had, the backlash that the Jets always have with every decision made. The Giants just go about their business, and he's been going through and he's been making improvements. And this year, you look at his numbers, interceptions are way down. He's not fumbling the ball. He's not getting sacked a lot. He's not throwing the ball away. He's keeping us in the games with no receivers. Forget about Galladay. He's never even on the field. We have nobody, and we stay in every game. It's rare that we're blown out. 5 minutes left. Thanks for the 5-minute warning there, Alex.
Yeah, haven't even got to talk about the Jets.
When you stop playing the music. Yeah, hey, end your speech. So, yeah, they gave him some time, and Jones, and I think they'll end up signing him now because I think he's shown that he can lead this team. We don't need to go after a quarterback in the draft or go bring in anybody else, any kind of Derek Carrs that are out there. I think we stay right where we are.
I agree.
Yeah, amazing after 4 years, right? You look at Zach Wilson in year 2, booed out of New York. Danny Dimes played like shit.
Yeah.
Really, for a couple years, and they were just like, this is the guy. We're giving him the opportunity. We're going to roll with it, pain and all. And here we go.
Who did he have there, though, last couple of years as a head coach?
That's been
Wait,
kind
Giants?
of
Yeah, Joe
They've had
Judge,
different
right?
guys. Joe Judge, right?
That's what I'm getting
Yeah.
at. They got somebody who is gonna groom him.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They got
Yeah,
the
this
right
year.
coach in from Buffalo.
Right.
They did.
this year.
I mean,
Yeah.
look what he did with Josh Allen. That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
you're seeing an uptick in him after 2 years with a special teams head coach. I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
not everybody's meant to be a head coach, and I'm not even going to get into that again. But it's just
Right.
He has
Right.
the right coach there for him.
Yep.
He does.
Yep. It helps. Time and coaching
Yes.
is what you need. So, all right.
Let's go straight
So,
to the Jets. Let's go to the Jets game.
all right. Let's talk about the Jets. So this is a
We don't need to
playoff
talk
game. Man, I can't wait to get out of here. But
You better have some clips. You better put some clips on the page with the 12th man screaming. I want to hear what that sounds like. You better put that on our
Well,
page later.
we'll see how loud it is. But where I'm sitting, it's kind of in the middle rows there. It's like second
Doesn't
level.
matter.
So it might be quieter, but we'll see. If it's loud, I'll definitely be taking video. So don't worry.
Yep.
So Jets are now 2-point favorites. A very low, surprisingly low 43 points for this one. I feel like with Mike White back, the offense should be able to move the ball. Jets defense hasn't looked very good either, so I expect Seattle to move the ball as well. I hope the Jets defense shows up, but it hasn't the last few weeks. They've looked atrocious. Kind of the way they started the year is kind of how we're finishing it. So, but this is definitely a playoff game because you have to win. You know, that's the mentality they have to be going in with, because if not, that's it. Like, we're out. So it's win and stay alive for the Jets to go to Miami next week. So it is the end of the Geno revenge tour. He's won the first two that he's played. So we'll
Winning
see.
the third. He's going to win the third.
But luckily, we're getting Geno when he's been kind of coming back to earth. So I'm hoping that trend continues and they continue to play bad. Tyler Lockett's got the finger. I don't know how well that's going to play out. He just had surgery and now he's already back. He missed 1 week. So we'll see how productive he's going to be. Mike,
Mike's
optimistic,
so stupid. God,
optimistic Mike. That what a game that would be. I'm probably going to get thrown off the second level there if it's 66
I
nothing.
can't wait to meet you, Mike.
It's insane,
I'm going
but-
to have so much fun, man.
All right. So what do you guys think? Obviously, Mike's taking the Jets. Alex looks like he's taking the Seahawks. I'm obviously taking the Jets to win this one. What do you guys got?
I like Seattle in this one. Joe, you brought it up before. I said it texted a week. That's a long way to travel for one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The Jets are just in one of those places like New England's at right now where they're going back and forth every other week. I don't like it. There's no continuity in the offense. Mike White may be a step up. Who knows? And Mike, I'll bet you any amount of money that the Jets don't win 66-0. Any amount. I don't care what it is. I'll take out a loan if I don't have the money. I will take any bet you want for that score.
Sign the house over.
I will. You can have my house. It's worth I won't even say it, but it's worth a little bit of money. So you'll be fine. No, I like Seattle in this one, man.
John's
I think
face
gonna
when
be-
it's 66 nothing at the end of the game.
Honey, we have to move. Why? Because I bet
the house.
I made a terrible bet. No, I think Seattle wins it. I think they have more offensive firepower. The defense is still there for New York, but that's a long way to travel. I don't think it's going to be 24-16. I think it'll be like a 21-10 game, 21-16 game. I like the 16, Alex. I like low 20s for the Hawks,
Okay.
but that's my take on it. Jen, let's hear yours.
Yeah, I mean, so it's 1
The
o'clock. I feel the same. I think it's hard to play in Seattle. I do. I mean, I can't say the Jets can fly across the country and beat Seattle in Seattle.
Well, at least they've been here for 2 days. That's a
What's
good
that?
thing. They flew out 2 days ago, so at least they've been here for a little while. But yeah,
place to play. Everybody
is.
knows it's a tough place to play.
that it is. It's a young team
Yep.
playing
It
in
is
a
a young
hostile
team.
environment.
Yep. So we'll see how they handle that. Even White, right? I mean, is he going to be able to handle that noise? Is the line going to be able to handle it? There's going to be a lot of false starts. What? Yeah, I don't think it'll be a high scoring game, but I think I can't take the Jets. I'm sorry. I think Seattle wins.
Okay.
And you're going to go there with that gear on? You're going to wear your Jets everything and your kids and everything? Or no, you
No, it's just me and the wife.
Oh, okay.
That place it's too loud to bring the kids,
Yeah, no,
and too expensive to bring the kids
Yep.
who would rather watch their iPads during the game than watch the
course
actual
they
game.
would.
So,
Yep.
I'm gonna say final score 27-16 Jets.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Huh.
27
Interesting.
points. 20. I'm writing this down.
Hold on a
Yeah.
second.
Mike.
I need to see if
Mike,
the
you
Jets,
watching this? Mike,
I need to see if the Jets have scored 27 points in the last month. They have, surprisingly. Wait,
No,
loss. Nope. Okay, they last scored 27 points against the Bears. That's 1 time, 2, 3, 4, 5 times this year they've scored 27 points.
Wow.
Oh, no, they haven't. 4 times this year they've scored 27 points.
yeah.
Interesting.
We'll see what happens. Mark, I am definitely excited to watch that game. That is going to be such a
That
great.
will be good.
Finally, a Monday
Yes.
night game
Yes.
that is worth watching. I'm like, man, that's going to be a fun one. I can't wait. Big game for your Bills there to really go into the playoffs with some momentum. It's going to be a fun one to watch. And then Joey B finally on TV, Jamar Chase. That's going to be a great game. I can't wait for that. So, all right. Well, it is a few minutes past the top of the hour. Games are going. So, guys, good luck. Good luck with your championship playoff win. I hope we bring it home for you and help you out with that one. It's been a blast. Obviously, we'll come back next week. We could do some DraftKings stuff and have a little bit of fun betting and talking football and everything. Definitely want to hear how you guys finished the year. Hopefully we helped you. But please let us know, give us some feedback on what you think and how you did. And I really do hope we helped you out. It's been a blast talking with you guys each week. Loved it. Love talking football with you guys. It's the highlight of my week, man. Sunday mornings, I can't wait to sit down and talk to you guys. I love it. But thank you guys for spending time with us. It means a lot. And we're going to do it again next week, obviously. But I'm going to get ready to go watch the Jets, deal with some unruly and no doubt asshole fans. We'll see if I come back bloody, bruised, but, should see the other guy. But yeah, so good luck, guys.
Have fun, Joe.
And we'll see you guys real soon. For John and Jim, I'm Joe. Peace out, guys.